Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your Aptrepreneur, and let's talk about Papa John's founder and CEO, John Schnatter. Schnatter? Is that what his name is? Schnatter. Yeah, it's Schnatter. What a name. Okay, sorry. Got distracted there. Let's talk about John stepping down as the CEO of Papa John's Pizza, because I have read a lot of headlines that are definitely political, and they are definitely sensational, but I wonder how true they really are just from taking a step back and looking at it. Now, the story that has been going on is that the founder of Papa John's is stepping down as a CEO, of the company because of comments he made about the NFL national anthem protests. And if you don't know what those are for some reason, please just do a Google or Bing search. I am so not going to get into that here. Personally, I think it's something that's gone on way too long and doesn't have a clear vision, but, I also support the players' rights to do them. So, there. If you know about it, that's my stance on it. But this John had made some public comments that he was blaming sagging pizza sales on the NFL anthem protests, and even said he might consider ending the company might consider ending the relationship with the NFL. Now, there's a couple problems with this. One, you actually couldn't prove that because places like Domino's and Pizza Hut did not report similar lost earnings, and because when you are the official pizza of the NFL, that's kind of like having the Super Bowl and saying you're not going to air it. That is not a partnership you want to lose. You want to keep that partnership. And so the narrative has been that he has been forced out of the company and someone new will be taking his place. Personally, I think there's a little bit of truth to that, but it's not really the story. Because if you read between the lines, there's actually a lot to suggest that he was not ousted, that this is a strategic planning to save a little bit of face and to save a partnership, and to move the company forward with a new, bold initiative that is not being carried down by the stigma of the founder. And let me explain what I mean by that. Because John is not, if he is being ousted from his own company, it is the easiest ousting in the world. First of all, he still owns a ton of stock in Papa John's. He still holds a board seat. He, in fact, isn't even leaving a top position, really. He's stepping down from CEO to COO. So he will still have major says in how the company operates. He might even, secretly have the final say. What I think is happening is that the new CEO, Steve Ritchie, worked for Papa John's for 21 years. He started making pizzas, and apparently he was set to take over the CEO position at some point anyway, and this just happened to be the perfect time to do it. Because after the comments, people are a little sensitive about things, and even though John is still the biggest shareholder at Papa John's and is thus untouchable, he probably saw that remaining the face of the company would ultimately do more harm than good. And unlike Kalanick, he has stepped back from the role, at least on the surface, and holds the COO position. So Ritchie will now be publicly calling the shots, and that's where the company will basically save face. It is true, by the way, that John also did issue a public apology, and that is part of the attempt to keep the sponsorship. And I believe what's going to happen is that I think deep down he knew the NFL anthem protests were not the reason for Papa John's sagging sales. I think he knew that it was a combination of, app deliveries like Postmates and DoorDash and Grubhub buying any food from anywhere, and Domino's and Pizza Hut, frankly, being ahead of the curve when it comes to app and mobile-based food ordering, which the Papa John's app is honestly kind of crummy. I love their pizza, but if I buy through the app, for example, I don't get my Papa John's points, which means I have to go to a browser. I don't always have access to a browser. So, just things like that. So I think Ritchie's going to be there to kind of spearhead a new mobile app-based ordering system with Papa John's. repair the NFL relationship. And you know what? I wouldn't be too surprised if John even came back as the CEO. Keep in mind, this isn't the first time he's left. The last time there were troubles with the company, he stepped down as CEO at 2005 and then returned in 2008. I actually think this is kind of a strategy of his that whenever the company is starting to suffer a little bit, they install new leadership to instill confidence in the shareholders while he personally works on a goal to bring the company back, and then he reclaims the company, so to speak, when it's in good hands. In fact, it should also be noted that Papa John's has filmed multiple commercials with John for next year, and they have no intention of replacing him as the face of the company, which speaks speaks volumes if the company really wanted to distance themselves from the guy. So I personally think that this Papa John's stories are overblown. We're going to have to see what happens, of course. I personally love Papa John's pizza. I know that's probably not a shock, but, you know, I would like to see the company continue to succeed. And, you know, I know some people don't like him because he's difficult to work with and stuff, but I have to say, I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for him, because when I read that story about the pizza delivery boy that worked for Papa John's who was shot and killed, and then John, you know, paid for the boy's funeral, attended the funeral personally, and then even continued to help the family financially, that's going above and beyond for any CEO. So I kind of have a soft spot for people who do things like that, but maybe that's just me. What about you? Do you like the guy, dislike the guy? Do you think he's gone for good? Do you think he's going to come back? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for $1 a month. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.